Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, my presentation more to the ESSD in the context of Malaysia. So, if your neighbor country, Malaysia. So, ESSD basically based on your friend's presentation, what I can conclude is ESSD is a holistic approach. So, it prioritizes the environmental and also social well-being of the people. And then NESSD also focuses on sustainable development, and we present this without compromising future generation. Means that what you have today should be enjoyed by the next generation. So that's how the basic concept of the ESSD. And then how relevant ESSD to Malaysia? First, Malaysia is blessed with the biodiversity, rich of biodiversity, because like Indonesia as an archipelagic nation, so Malaysia we also have the rainforest, we also have a beautiful coral reef, and in Terengganu, I forgot to tell you that in Terengganu we are campus by the beach, so we have our own beach. So I always have every semester I will always have BBQ session with my student by the beach. And then we have our own island, Bidong Island. So basically we have our laboratory and the center, basically research center at the Bidong Island. So students will go to the island to go for research and to do some the fieldwork sampling for their studies. And then we have a beautiful island in Terengganu, Redang Island, whereby in Redang Island, we have our own turtle sanctuary. So yeah, owned by UNP, Universiti Malaysia Terengganu. So that's why I welcome all of you to come to Terengganu, and then maybe this year, so maybe organized by Dr. Reza. So as Malaysia, blessed with the rich biodiversity, so we face a rapid development in Malaysia. So for example, we have urbanization. And in 1980s, we have industrialization in Malaysia. So ESSD is crucial to balance between the economic growth and environmental preservation and social equity. So these three things, the key elements of ESSD must be involved, which is to balance economic growth with environmental preservation and social equity. So in Malaysia, we strongly endorse the UN Sustainable Development Goals, SDG. So, for example, SDG are incorporated into the National Development Plan. For example, we have a 5 years plan. Currently, we have 12 Malaysian plan, and we're looking forward the 30th Malaysian plan. So 5 years Malaysian plan. And then the importance of the concerted effort for the UN Sustainable Development Goals, we need to have concerted effort from all the aspects. For example, from the government, from the ministries, agencies, and from the private sector, from the civil society, and from the individuals. So this is basically really important to ensure that we can implement the SSD framework very well in Malaysia. And for example, in Malaysian context, we focus on SDG 13. For example, climate action. So we have Malaysian National Climate Change policy that aims to reduce greenhouse gas emission in Malaysia. And we also have SDG 14, life below water. So I just want to inform to all of you, my recent studies more on the marine policy in Malaysia. So for example, like last year, I received a grant from the Department of Fisheries Malaysia, I think among 100,000 ringgit Malaysia, to assess, to evaluate the impact of the artificial reef development program towards the fishermen in East Coast part of Peninsula Malaysia. So after the presentation of the findings last year with the Department of Fisheries, they were so happy basically with my findings, and they asked me, Dr. Rahman, why not you continue to the east, to the west part of Peninsula Malaysia? So this year, I will continue my grant. I just received a grant amount 180,000 ringgit Malaysia from Department of Fisheries Malaysia to continue the research on the west part of Peninsula Malaysia. So that's how we focus on the SDG 14 in terms of the life below water. So Malaysia basically actively protecting our marine ecosystem. So unfortunately, we are still left behind Indonesia in terms of the marine spatial planning. So you know about the marine spatial planning. So of course, you're from the government bodies, so you know about the marine spatial planning. Indonesia, together with 94 countries in the world, already implement marine spatial planning. Unfortunately, Malaysia is not implementing it yet. So that's why I'm here in Jakarta for 1 month. So currently I have the academic attachment, research attachment with the Kementerian Kelautan dan Perikanan, KKP. So basically in this 1 month, I will learn on how the legal framework of the marine spatial planning in Indonesia, the institutional framework, and also how about the challenges faced by Indonesia in implementing the marine spatial planning. Because when we present the effort of Indonesia, how Indonesia can get so much benefits from the marine spatial planning, not only for the environmental, but also for the economic development. So our Prime Minister really shocked, you know. So they said to us, why Malaysia still don't want to implement the marine spatial planning? So one of the reasons why, because before this, we have like Oceanography Institute in Malaysia. But Oceanography Institute responsible for National Ocean Policy, for example, they already draft the National Ocean Policy. Can you believe that we don't have any National Ocean Policy yet in Malaysia? Because in Malaysia, we basically our management plan is fragmented approach based on sector. So we have like Ministry of if Indonesia you have like Kementerian Kelautan dan Perikanan. We don't have Kementerian Kelautan dan Perikanan because the fisheries will under the responsibility of Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security. And then apart from that, for environmental, we have our own Ministry of NRES, National Resources and Environmental. So we have many other related, for example, maritime transport under the Ministry of Transportation. So we have so many sectoral approach in Malaysia. So that's why we don't have any national ocean policy yet in Malaysia. So that's why I'm really grateful that I came to Indonesia for this 1 month to learn from Indonesia. Why not? Because we met Indonesia as one of the benchmarking countries aside from Australia and China. So last year or last 2 years, I used to stay in China for 3 months to learn from China about the marine spatial planning in China, and we received grant. I think about 300,000 ringgit Malaysia from China to do framework related to marine spatial planning in Malaysia. So China basically helped us to come out with the framework of the marine spatial planning. So that's how I think we need to embrace the collaboration, not only with the China, because China is socialist country. So China basically what at the land and what in the sea is all owned by the government in China. So that's why when they want to implement something in China, they can do that by today. If they want to clear, the building by the beach, they can clear it today. They cannot. They do not need to wait for consultation and then feedback from the people, for example. So in China, they can do that. So we cannot do that in Malaysia and also in Indonesia. So that's why when we have like a first draft, the framework of marine spatial planning, so we need to learn from the more suitable country. So I choose Indonesia to come to learn from Indonesia. Alhamdulillah, I learned a lot during these 3 weeks, and I have another 1 week here in Jakarta. And next week I will have like presentation with the Ministry of Kementerian KKP, DCD, untuk I present to them what I learned along these 4 weeks in Indonesia, and then to get some feedback from them. And then after I come back to Malaysia, I will present to our government to ensure that our government, because we receive basically because my passion is all about teaching and research. So I also received a grant from Kementerian Ekonomi, Ministry of Economy in Malaysia, to do the some improvement of the MSP framework in Malaysia. We already have the MSP framework, but we need to improve that framework. So that's why I got like I think we received 100,000 Malaysian from the Ministry of Economy to do this research, and then one of the output basically I come to Indonesia to learn from Indonesia. Okay, so that's how about the SDG in Malaysia, and in Malaysia we also emphasize on the sustainability agenda. So what about Malaysia's sustainability agenda? So in Malaysia's sustainability agenda, we have a comprehensive framework that focuses on three key aspects. First, in terms of sustainable economic growth. Second, in terms of environmental risk mitigation. And third one, in terms of social equity. Okay, I try to present one by one. So in terms of a sustainable economic growth, we want to promote green industries. For example, renewable energy. We have ecotourism. And then we want to implement circular economic principles. For example, in Malaysia, we have Malaysian Green Technology and Climate Change Center, MGTC. So basically, MGTC promoting green technology in Malaysia. Other than that, we have environmental risk mitigation that address deforestation and biodiversity loss in Malaysia due to the urbanization and also due to the deforestation. For example, the Department of Environment enforcing the environmental regulation to control industrial pollution. So apart from that, we have social equity in Malaysia. So social equity, we try to reduce poverty and equality by ensuring access to education and healthcare in Malaysia. And then, for example, government initiative to provide affordable housing and improve rural infrastructure. For example, in Terengganu, we have the initiative from the state government to provide the young generation, basically between the age of 25 until 40 years old with the affordable houses. So it's just like, I think just 50,000 or 60,000 ringgit Malaysian. So you can have like quite affordable house range in Terengganu. So next. Okay. Okay. So now we focus on Malaysia's ESSD framework. So just now your friends talk about the ESSD framework. So right now we have case study in Malaysia for the ESSD framework in Malaysia. So first, in terms of we have national policy on the environment in 2002. So Malaysia established national policy on the environment in 2002, and the foundation of this policy is for the environmental management in Malaysia. So this policy also acts as the cornerstone of Malaysia environmental protection effort, and of course it covers a wide range of areas. For example, in this environmental and national policy on the environment, so it covers the pollution control, for example, air, water, land pollution. They cover natural resources conservation, and also they cover environmental impact assessment. So other than that, we have the Green Technology Master Plan in Malaysia for the Malaysia ESSD framework. So what is Green Technology Master Plan? Basically, Green Technology Master Plan focuses on accelerating the adoption of green technology across various sectors. So I think it is quite effort put by the government to ensure that we accelerate the adoption of green technology in Malaysia. For example, we promote renewable energy sources. We also promote energy efficiency. And of course, I think the term efficiency is quite viral now in Malaysia. Efficiency, right? So same with Malaysia, but not like what you experience in Malaysia. So like UMT, we have like the efficiency policy, which is during the lunch hour, you need to switch off all the lamp, and aircon need to be like above 24 degrees So, and then before you come back from the work, for example, you need to ensure that all the plugs must be switched off. So that's how we implement the efficiency in UFD. And apart from that, also we also have like budget cutting, and then UMT also promote the green campus. So like what you have in, I think Universitas Indonesia much better in doing that green campus. I can see all the efforts here compared to Universiti Malaysia Terengganu. For your information, Universiti Malaysia Terengganu just I think among the 20 campuses in Malaysia that in the rank of the green campus in Malaysia. So I think we are not the best in Malaysia. The best in Malaysia basically in University Science Malaysia. So apart from that, we have shared prosperity vision 2030. So we not only care about the environment, but we also need to care about the the inclusive and equitable growth in Malaysia. So based on this shared prosperity vision 2030, so it emphasizes the importance of social equity in sustainable development. So that's why in Malaysia we have several corridors established by the government in 2007. For example, one of the topic of my PhD, basically about the East Coast Economic Region (ECAR). We have North Economic Corridor Region (NCER). We have Iskandar Region in Johor. We have Sabah region, and we have Sarawak region. So. Sorry. So when we have like East Coast Economic Region, so the economic region, economic corridor, the main objective of the corridor, basically, we need to accelerate the social, inclusive and equitable growth. So basically, among the states in Malaysia, so the East Coast part of Peninsula Malaysia, there are two states that, have high rates of poor people, Kelantan and Terengganu. And in north part of Peninsula Malaysia, they have Kedah and Perlis. So there also high rate of poor people in north part of Malaysia. So that's why we have this economic corridor, because we need to ensure that we need to have inclusive and accelerate the economic growth. So that's why in Terengganu, if you come to Terengganu, we have the first, like what they had in London, we have drawbridge in Terengganu. So the first one in Malaysia, and I think the first one in Southeast Asia. So we have like the drawbridge. You can open the boat can pass through the bridge. So it's quite huge amount of money. But when people always protest about the huge amount of money that need to be invested by government to implement the high impact project in East Coast Economic Region. So for example, in Terengganu. But nowadays, Terengganu, so much, the economic growth in Terengganu is much better compared to the other states in Malaysia due to the planning by the government. So that's why we need to have the shared prosperity vision 2030, not only for the inclusive, but for the equitable economic growth in Malaysia. So we move to the key environmental challenge, what we call some tantangan ataupun cabaran in Malaysia. So basically, we have like three issues, key environmental issues or challenges in Malaysia. First, about deforestation. So basically, deforestation is all about loss of biodiversity and ecosystem services. So this is due to the factor like the agriculture expansion, or for example, palm oil plantation in Borneo, Sabah. And then we also have biodiversity loss. For example, loss of habitat and endangered species like the Malayan tiger. So Malayan tiger getting lost in Malaysia. And then we also have been tracked by ecosystem services like carbon sequestration, water regulation, and soil protection. So this is a key environmental challenge in Malaysia in terms of deforestation. And second thing is all about air pollution in terms of health risks and air quality impact in Malaysia. So primarily caused by the vehicle emission. So I think same like Indonesia, we have the problem of air pollution due to the vehicle emission, an increasing number of vehicles on the road. So I think the same situation in Indonesia. For example, after the COVID-19, we can see that during the COVID-19, the air quality is much better, you know. So after COVID-19, we can see that the registration of the transport in Malaysia, particularly cars, so is getting increased from time to time. So that's why we're having the problem of the vehicle emission, increasing the number of the vehicle on the road. And apart from that, we also have the issue of industrial emission, so from the factory. And then we have also the transboundary haze from the neighbor countries. For example, of course, between Malaysia and Indonesia, we have the forest fires in Indonesia, for example, in Kalimantan, right? So Riau, okay. So yeah, it's impact the countries like Singapore and Malaysia. So that's how the issue of pollution primarily keep be the challenge in Malaysia. And apart from that, we have the issue of waste management. So I think last 2 years, okay, last 2 years, I received a grant from the local council of Terengganu. I think amount 100,000 in Malaysia. So to do research in terms of the waste management in Redang Island, one of the most beautiful island in Malaysia. So located in Terengganu. You should come to Terengganu. I'll bring you to the Redang Island, to the VMP Turtle Sanctuary. So we can go diving together to play with the turtles. And then, so yeah. So that's how I always bring, you know, my friends from China, from Australia, when they visit Terengganu, the most important thing, that the compulsory thing you need to do is to visit the Redang Island. So it's really beautiful island in Malaysia. So one of the most top 10 beautiful island in the world, I think last 10 years ago. So that's why we need to take care of the Redang Island. So the main issue in the Redang Island last 3 years in terms of the waste management. So that's why I managed to hire one graduate research assistant to further master under my supervision. And then already finished within 3 semesters only, master by research. With one was index journal, quartile was Q1 index journal. So within 3 semesters only. So what I did to her, basically, she need to focus because I think she was a fresh graduate back then. So you don't have any like commitments like all of you. You have like family. You have works with the ministries and government bodies. Like my student, they don't have like commitment yet. So after they finish, basically I choose the right student. So the student basically the best student during the undergraduate studies. So got the award from the university. So I picked that student as my first master student in UNT. So Alhamdulillah, she managed to finish within 3 semesters only. And her research is about waste management in Redang Island. So her research basically focusing on the issue on the waste management in Redang Island. For example, increasing volume of waste generated daily due to the population growth and consumption patterns. In Redang Island, they need to bring out, they need to commute the waste from the island to the land every day. Yeah, they don't have like basically a large place to dumping the waste. So that's why they need to bring back to the land. So that's the main issue in Redang Island. So based on this issue, there are also inadequate waste disposal infrastructure in Redang Island and lack of recycling and waste reduction initiative. So that's why we try to introduce the concept of marine spatial planning in her studies to ensure that we can adapt some of the element of marine spatial planning to cater the issue of waste management in the Renang Island. So these three key environmental challenges become the main challenges for the ESSD in Malaysia.